The following program is seen statewide on California Public Television. Hello, everybody. I'm Huell Howser, and here we are on this glorious day up on California's Central Coast. We are standing in Montaña de Oro State Park, and I'm standing with Joyce. Joyce, we literally just drove up, met you, and we're getting ready to start this adventure. Tell us what you got here in this park.
Well, we have 8,000 acres. We have 50 miles of trails, all kinds of wild animals, bobcat, mountain lion, deer, raccoon, badger, exotic birds that come in from out at sea and nest in our cliffs. We have sea otters and seals, and way out there are humpback whales.
Is that all?
That's it.
That's a lot.
I think we're shortchanged.
This is a big, big park, and we're standing here with a happy group of park visitors. You are?
Steve Bray.
From?
Woodland Hills.
And this is obviously your family and your extended family.
That's right.
Your family and friends.
Friends, Dan.
And tell us, do you all come here a lot to this park?
We've been coming once or twice a year for the last 4 or 5 years for the kids.
Now, why do you keep coming back?
Because it's so much fun for the kids. There's a lot of hiking. There's a lot of, they love collecting the shells.
Oh, these are the shells right here that you've collected today?
My daughter collects stones.
So that's going back to Woodland Hills.
That's going back to Woodland Hills. We collected some shells. We were trying to make some earrings out of them for the kids, whatever.
And it looks like everybody's having a good time. What have you done so far today?
Today we hiked down to the tide pools, but the tide was out. Or the tide was in too high, so we couldn't get too far. But the kids saw a lot of crabs. They love these bugs that land on them.
So there's a lot to do here.
Tons.
Everybody having a good time here at Montaña de Oro? Absolutely. Well, we're going to spend the whole day here. You spend a lot of time here. Your name is?
Marion Lynn.
And what do you do when you come here?
I actually hike all over the trails around here, and I've gone through pretty much every trail.
Lots of hiking.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of beautiful things to see.
Definitely. All the birds, all the plants.
And probably a lot of nice people to meet along the way.
Definitely.
Well, we're here. You're going to show us around.
Sure thing.
We're going to spend the whole day here at Montaña de Oro, one of California's golden parks.
I love you, California. You're the greatest state of all. I love you in the winter, summer, spring, and in the fall. I love your fertile valleys, your dear mountains I adore. I love your grand old ocean, and I love a rugged shore.
Well, this is very exciting. You missed it. You just showed up.
I'm glad I did.
We were here a few minutes ago, and Joyce welcomed us to the park. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Well, my name is Juventino Ortiz, and I'm the supervising state park ranger here at this wonderful park, Montaña de Oro.
You know, we've just been here a few minutes, but I'm getting the picture very sharply in focus here that this is a wonderful park.
It definitely is. It's a very popular park here in San Luis Obispo County. We have people that come here from all over the state. It's just a gorgeous place.
All right, it's beautiful. There's a lot of natural beauty here. There's a lot of history here as well, and we're standing in front of one of the chapters in the history of this park.
Yes, Huell, this is the Alden Spooner House, and the Spooners settled here, and they ended up having an agricultural facility here with pigs and growing crops, and then they had the young son, the Alden Jr., was very ingenious and started putting together these products and then transporting them to schooners out here in the cove, which we call Spooner's Cove.
Now, the house is used as
a visitor center and ranger headquarters.
Okay, so this is kind of ground zero in the park.
Pretty much, yeah. This is where we pretty much base our volunteer effort. We have a small visitor center in here with lots of good information about the park, as well as information about the trails here and things to do. The rangers work out of here occasionally with a small office to do their paperwork and do any other things that they need to do.
All right, now we are standing, I mean, this is a beautiful little farmhouse, little ranch house here. But we're looking right over here at the beach, which we saw when we pulled in. This is a beautiful little beach.
It is. This is what we call Spooner's Cove, and it's a very popular beach with people just want to come out and just get a look at the beautiful view out here. It's very popular for weddings. We'll even have some memorial services out here because some people just cherish this park so much that their loved ones felt that this was an appropriate place to have a memorial for them. So it's a very popular beach, and it's one of the first stops here at Montaña de Oro State Park.
Okay, we are now hiking down one of how many miles of hiking trail?
50 miles.
50 miles of hiking trails, and I gotta tell you, it'd be hard to keep your eye on the trail when you've got stuff like this to see. This is absolutely beautiful. What do you call this?
Well, we call this Smuggler's Cove. And there's a little story with a lot of these little coves around here, especially during Prohibition time, and I think you can probably put two and two together.
Yeah. So this is where they smuggled.
Well, you know, we can't verify it for sure, but, you know, it seemed to be a nice little secluded little beach to land your boat, and if you had some special products, then this would be the place to stop.
Now, I don't see anybody down there on the beach. Can you come in and swim on this beach?
The water is rather cold. People do occasionally nude sunbathe.
No.
Yes.
But that's why we're here, okay? We're here to stop that, so.
Well, let's take a look out here at this beautiful cove. Once again, it's called
Smuggler's Cove.
And boy, look at the cliffs and the rocks, and oh, it's just a beautiful, beautiful place. Are there coves like this all up and down the coast?
South of us here, there are a lot more of them. And if you go further down the coast outside the park, you start moving into Pacific Gas and Electric property, and you'll find even more coves.
Yeah, but they're not state park.
No,
this belongs to us.
This belongs to the people of California, and this is one of California's, I think, premier state parks.
Hugh, watch out for the poison oak.
The poison oak?
This is poison oak. All the green and the red.
Boy, those nude sunbathers might have trouble walking home from the beach.
Nature has its revenge.
Now this is, boy, I'm just looking back here. Now this is all open country back here.
It sure is, and it's very rugged, and the park is characteristic with its very steep mountains and very sharp cutted
like
ravines.
Right here.
That's Valencia Peak that you see right there, the taller peak.
Uh-huh. Is all of this part of the park?
Yes, everything you see pretty much along the ridgeline is all in the state park.
Boy, this is you mean all of this over here?
All of that too, including that area there where you see all the eucalyptus trees.
Ah, here come some hikers right here. Howdy, ladies. Y'all are hiking back from what kind of an adventure have you had here in the park?
Well, a photographic adventure. My friend is here from Kentucky and wanted to get some views so she could go home and paint.
They don't have anything like this in Kentucky.
No, we do not.
What do you think about this?
It's fabulous.
This is one of our California state parks.
Yes, and if I lived here, I would never go to work because I would be here all the time.
Just like your friend.
Just my paintbrush.
We want to know what kind of birds are nesting with the red feet.
The bright red feet.
With the bright red feet.
They're in the rocks there.
Or go ahead, Joyce.
They're called the pigeon guillemots.
Pigeon guillemots.
They come in March and they leave 1st of August usually.
They're wonderful.
They're fascinating, and they're singing little songs
Yes,
to their
they
babies in the
all
rocks.
time.
Can we see them?
Yes.
What are they called?
A pigeon guillemot.
Oh, we're on our way.
You'll see
enjoy
about
them.
6
They're
different
wonderful.
nests in the rocks.
Thanks for telling us about that. You know, I think Joyce knows more about this park than you do.
She definitely does.
They've been here 6 years.
Oh, okay. So now this is a big birding.
Oh, one of the major birding spots on the coast.
So people just come out here and quietly sit and watch birds.
Or they seek them out more than they hike around through the hills and down on the coves looking for the birds.
Oh, look at this. Now we're getting into these beauty shots that we were talking about. Just looking over, there's the beach over there.
There's Spooner's Cove.
And look at the color of the water.
Back in 1892, Alden Spooner had dairy cows on that beach.
Thank goodness the dairy cows aren't there. Now that could kind of make a mess.
Definitely.
Boy, this is beautiful.
Ideal for fishing down here.
Okay, we're cutting off the main trail to go through. Boy, this is, what do you call this kind of a landscape?
Well, it's kind of a grassland, but a lot of this is weeds and mustard plant and other plants, thistle, that is all pretty much drying out now because of the hot summer.
But boy, when you look out here, it goes, you know, it's really very thick. And
This is a marine terrace.
a marine terrace.
Yes, it was all underwater at one time, up through Valencia Peak.
Okay, we've headed a little bit further down the coast here, and it's not just by chance that we've run into these two individuals here. Introduce yourself to everybody.
I'm Elise Wheeler. I'm the district archaeologist.
Okay,
And I'm Dick Miller. I'm a docent.
Okay, got a lot of docents here in this park.
Oh yes, and we love them. They do a wonderful job here for us. They really help out on a lot of the information, and as you can tell by talking to Joyce, a lot of information that maybe rangers might not know. So it's great to have them.
All right, we're standing here looking at this beautiful shot over here. Why did you want us to meet up with you here?
What we're looking at here is the remains of Spooner's Landing. You see Spooner's house over there. Spooner was very involved in shipping. He shipped agricultural products all over, and this was the easiest way to get in and out. If you look at this photograph, you can see a chute there and a ship that's being loaded, and in this photograph, you see a warehouse. That's this bluff.
Oh, so
right
the
over
warehouse
there,
would have been right here.
The
warehouse
concrete
is
pad
over
behind
there.
you is the foundation of the barn you see in that photograph.
And wait a minute, the chute would have run.
It's a trench, a descending trench that runs right underneath where we're standing, comes out about halfway down, and after that there is a wooden trestle that goes all the way down to the reef that you see here, which is deep water, so that a coastal schooner could come right alongside, and you may be able to see the remains of mooring rings down there in the rock. There is also a large metal plate set into the rock right down straight below you.
Now, what would this have been used for?
Well, Spooner's problem was that he lived a very long way from a market, which was the San Francisco market at that point. And his problem is not that he doesn't have enough space to run as many dairy cattle as he wants. His problem is, how do you get high-value, low-bulk products from here to the market? And the answer is butter and cheese. And you then need to get them on a coastal boat. You can't get a coastal boat into the cove. There is no port here. And so the Spooners, being very ingenious people, built this chute that allowed them to load up sacks of beans, live pigs with their feet tied together, barrels of butter, roll them down the chute to the reef below, load them onto the steamer, which then took them to San Francisco.
Wow, what an interesting layer of history to this park.
Isn't it great?
Yeah,
and if you look over the edge, you can see the holes that supported the posts for the trestle.
You're warning us.
Don't get too close now.
Well, you know, the archaeologists get out of control when they start looking at this.
Docents are impossible in that regard.
But now this is just one layer. There are layers of history here that go back even further.
Well, this area was occupied by Native Americans for probably 9,000 years. Just south of here at Diablo Canyon, we have dates, carbon dates, showing human habitation that's 9,200 years before present. So it's reasonable to assume that the same thing was happening here, although we haven't tested here. We don't know for sure.
So you think this whole area here, what a great place to live.
Oh, it's a wonderful place. There's never a time when it's unpleasant to be out here.
And they would have had plenty of fish from the sea?
Absolutely. There's fish, shellfish, and also terrestrial resources very close by. So this was an ideal place for people to be living.
Do you think when the average person comes here, they know these layers of history?
No, I think they're very often completely misled, because visitors will come and they look out here and they see, wilderness, California primeval. Everything we can see from the spot we're standing was either a cultivated field or a pasture within living memory. This is not wilderness. This is what happens when you let a farm go to weeds for a half century. And all of these terraces on both sides were cultivated.
Back just 100 years ago.
Less than that, down to the 1940s.
Yeah. And
All of this
before
was
that, the
working
Native
farm.
Americans were here for 9,000 years.
Right. And when the Spooners were here, there were also Japanese tenant farmers on all of these marine terraces, and they stayed up until World War II. And that was about the time that the Spooners got rid of the property also. So post-war, they didn't return.
When did this become a state park?
About 1965.
Joyce was pepped up when I asked you that question. She's ready to jump in if you didn't know the answer. So the family deeded it over to the state?
Yes, and it became a state park, and originally it was about 4,000 or so acres, the first part of the park, and then over time other parcels have been brought on board, and now we're close to 8,000 acres for the state park.
Look who I ran into here, right on the bluff. Now, what are you ladies doing here in the park?
We are here for a wonderful art retreat.
An art retreat. Now, what does that mean?
Well, we're here for a whole week. Well, we came Monday. We'll be here through Friday. We're doing just art studies of the area. We're drawing trees, wildlife, with Art Sherwin, who is a really wonderful teacher. And
so if you can't find something to draw here, I mean, look at all of this stuff.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to draw, huh?
Now, have you all just kind of been walking around the park and enjoying what have you seen so far?
Well, we finished up a morning workshop in a couple of different locations this morning, and so now we're just kind of hiking the area.
Great. Have you seen any birds? Have you
pelicans, and we saw a seal over there, and there's a lot. It's really exciting.
Come on over here. Let's go over to the edge. No, you're not supposed to go to the edge. No. That's part of it, right? People get carried away.
They just get carried away with all the beauty and everything out here, you know?
He did. He said go look over the bluff.
Your teacher said to go look over the bluff?
Art said go very close, but not to the edge, to look over the bluff. He said you'll see beautiful
down and see the textures.
Right.
So that's what we're doing.
You'll see the textures, all right, if you get too close to the edge.
You don't want to see them any closer than that. No, this is probably close
But
enough.
it doesn't get any prettier than this right here.
This is just beautiful.
What a wonderful place for artists to come and enjoy.
Well, that's what we're here for. And we've been doing it today and yesterday. We're going to continue for the rest of the week till Friday.
Joyce is over there looking for some. What are you looking for, Joyce? Some birds?
The guillemots are nesting in the cliff.
Okay, the guillemots. Howdy, how y'all doing? Good. Have you seen any guillemots?
What is a guillemot?
A guillemot is a bird with a red, I think it has a red beak or something like that. We're looking for a guillemot.
We did have binoculars out looking at birds on the cliffs, but
big blackbirds.
Really?
Not guillemots.
Is this your first visit to this park?
Yep.
And what do you think about it?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's really lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been doing? Looking at birds or down in the tide pools or?
We just came
yes to everything.
That's where we're
yes
heading.
To everything. Right.
We're heading down to the tide pools. Joyce, I was asking them if they had seen any guillemots. They hadn't seen any.
Well, you just haven't seen. They're right out here in the water. The pigeon guillemots.
Are they the tall black ones that are right?
Those are the cormorants.
Oh, okay.
The guillemots are in the water and they're black and white.
Don't they have a red beak?
They have a red inside their mouth and very red feet.
Oh, well, do they dive under those?
Yes,
Oh, I know what they are.
See?
Now I know.
Is it worth us going to see them, or is it just another bird?
Yes, they're very fun.
Right below us,
All
right
right,
here.
we're going to find one of these things. We may not see anything else, but we're going to find a guillemot. Have you ever seen a guillemot?
Actually, I've seen them a couple times, but I think Joyce is the one that's going to find them here.
Now, don't get too close to the edge, Joyce.
These are their nests, the holes. They're out in the water. The little black and white dots out in the water are the pigeon guillemots. Let's go down farther, right down here.
Because San Juan Capistrano has their swallows and we have our guillemots.
You know, this is worth coming to the park just for this view right here.
Well, Huell, this is the most popular trail in the park. Everyone that comes here, they all visit here and walk on the Bluff Trail.
That's what it's called, the Bluff Trail.
The Bluff Trail, yes.
And these bluffs are very old.
Oh, the formations that we see are 5 million year old megalito shale.
5 million year old bluffs.
Very young geologically.
Wow. Now, where are we going? Do we just walk around this whole point here?
We're going down to Coralina Cove, a very popular tide pool area.
So all along here, you have these places where people can just stop and stand and look out at the rocks.
That's exactly it, Huell. That's part of this park, is just sometimes, you know, you want a nice quiet place, maybe to gather your thoughts, come with a loved one. It's another very romantic spot too. We see quite a few young livers come over here and just kind of sit and enjoy the view.
Look at this view right here. Oh my gosh. And there's that old 5-million-year-old shale right down there.
It's been bent due to the tectonic forces of the Pacific Plate going along the San Andreas Fault and hitting up against the other plates up north, and then you get the folding. So this is folded shale.
Our first bird sighting, and an exciting one it is, Joyce.
It's a western gull eating a fish that he got out of the tide pools. The western gulls also nest on the rocks here.
So we got him having his lunch.
He's having brunch, maybe.
Oh, brunch. Excuse me. This is the Central Coast.
That's right.
Okay, we're climbing down off the bluffs to take a look at this. This is spectacular. Where are we now?
We're at Coralina Cove.
Coralina Cove.
Yes.
And why have you brought us down here, Joyce?
Because it's so spectacular. We have tide pool area, and out in the kelp beds, you will have maybe 8 to 10 otters sleeping.
We're in the sand now. We're on the beach.
We have bull kelp here that has been washed ashore.
Uh-huh. And where are we heading? We're going to go to the tide pools?
This is called Turkish towel. It's a type of algae.
Turkish towel. Now, what's the deal on Turkish towel?
It's a type of algae.
It's all dried up.
And the gumboot chitin eats this. It's a critter that lives in the tide pools.
Boy, you know a lot about everything.
6 years.
Now, I'm not allowed to keep this, am I?
No, sir, you're not.
I can't even take this piece of dried seaweed with me.
Not even if you want to use it for a bath towel, you can't do it.
This one. You
oh, look.
There you go. There's a good
Now,
specimen.
there's an example. It's like a sponge.
Sure looks like it.
Turkish towel because of the rough nap on it.
Whoa.
And the gumboot chitin turns this color from eating it.
Is that a bird or a fish?
It's a critter that lives in the tide pools.
It's an invertebrate.
An invertebrate. Boy, I am tempted to put this in my pocket when you're not looking, because this is so interesting.
It sure is. It looks just like a little towel. You'd use it maybe on your sink, huh?
All right, now we're going out to the tide pool.
Now watch your step when you're out here, because it gets pretty slippery.
Turban snails, Mount Vesuvius. Here's a little crab.
Oh, look. That crab won't bite you, will it?
No.
Look at that. It's a little crab. Uh-oh. We found something unusual.
It's an anemone. And then around it are little hermit crabs that live in other critters' shells.
An anemone.
An anemone. They have little stinging stingers.
Oh, there's a crab coming up to it.
That's right. It's looking for lunch right now.
Now, what do people do? Just come down here and wander around?
They look. They observe and try to see how many little critters they can find.
It's kind of a human nature thing, Huell. You got to come out here and kind of bend over and look down and just kind of check things out.
And boy, when you are standing here,
you can see a lot.
You can feel a lot.
You can feel a lot, too. It's a very popular place with harbor seals as well. They'll be pupping sometimes during the pupping season, and we'll have harbor seals in here, sea otters. It's a great place to come visit.
These tide pools are amazing.
They sure are. It's like a separate little solar system in the big universe of this state park. All the animals here all have to adapt to this changing tide, the bright sun, and the pounding surf.
So this is what are you pointing out there?
The sculpin.
Oh, look. Now, wait a minute. It stopped moving. I don't think you... There he is. That's a fish.
It has camouflage.
Is that a fish?
That is a fish, a tide pool fish. What the seagull was eating was one of those, a larger one.
Boy, he just totally blends in.
Very protective.
See, this is what's great about coming to a tide pool. The longer you stand here and look at things, the more you see.
That's exactly right. And all these animals that you just, you can kind of think of animals that are maybe up here on the marine terrace, like maybe deer or squirrels or things like that. People can relate to that. But a lot of the animals out here, they're completely different because of the different environment that we have out here.
And they're camouflaged so that most of them you can't even see.
That's right.
Unless you really look for them.
Some of our raccoons have found that they can get meals out of the tide pools. We have found the skeletons and raccoon scat up on the bluff. They're eating chitons, gumboot chitons, that big chiton.
So the raccoons are coming down here.
Well, yeah, I guess they know that this is a place to come eat.
We found the trail and their scat and the debris of the chitons.
What are these flies down here?
Those are pesky flies.
Kelp flies pretty much out here, generally with the drying kelp out here.
Well, that's part of it too.
That's all part of it.
The kelp flies are eaten by many shorebirds.
So it's all part of the circle.
All part of the cycle.
Boy, now you're really getting this energy again, and the sun reflecting off the water.
It sure is, and this area is somewhat protected, and that's why it's a popular place for harbor seals and sea otters as well.
Yeah. And you all were telling us you didn't even know this place was here.
No, we were just driving along the coast and saw a sign and decided to check it out.
So you'd never been to the park before?
Never.
You didn't know it was here?
No. Nope. And we didn't know about tide pools until we went to the visitor center and saw a little thing, and the guy up there said that 3 o'clock was a good time, so we headed down here, and it's beautiful.
Well,
I've never seen tide pools.
Wow, you know what? We've never been here before either. We came here to explore this place. You know what? We have just scratched the surface. There is a lot more to see and do here, but I think that we have at least shown enough of the park to entice people to come see it for themselves.
I think definitely you've got the flavor of the park here with the coastline, rugged coastline, the tide pools, the hiking trails, the human history here. There's just so much to explore. You just can't do it in just a few hours.
Well, there's a lot to see and do here. Thank you very much, Joyce. You know what? We never saw
the pigeon guillemot.
Is there a picture of it that we can at least put up on the screen?
Yes.
So they do exist?
Yes, they do.
We just didn't see one today.
They were in their nests.
Well, we saw everything else. Thank you very, very much for this wonderful tour. We've had a wonderful day.
Thank you, Huell. It was
Thank
our
you
pleasure.
very much.
Our pleasure.
Thanks for showing us, whoa, that starfish. And I hope you've had as much fun as we've had here at this wonderful park, Montaña de Oro, which means
Mountain of Gold.
And it is definitely one of California's golden parks.